Welcome to Jason on English. Let's look at past modals using should, could, might. We can use them for giving advice, showing regret, and criticizing. What are past modals? In writing, you will find two different spellings. Should have as two words, and should apostrophe VE as one contraction. But both cases are pronounced should have. If there are two words separated, or if there's a contraction, pronounce them the same way. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. Pronunciation is important. You don't have to say have. With past modals, we use modal, have, past participle. I should have studied harder. Again, in writing, you'll find both ways of spelling this. Should have as two words, or should have as a contraction. But the pronunciation should be the same. I should have studied harder. The word have in these sentences is not important information for the listener. You want the listener to hear the main action, studied. It sounds more natural to say should have. I should have studied harder. If you practice making the word have part of the phrase, it will become easier. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. In these sentences, have is the main verb and should be pronounced clearly. Bob should have your hammer. Ask him. Bob could have a cold. Maybe that is why he is absent today. Bob might have an umbrella that you can borrow. Bob shouldn't have his car today. It is being repaired. The listener needs to hear have clearly to understand these sentences. This is different from the way have is used as part of a past modal. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. We can use past modals for expressing regret. I played video games all night. I didn't study at all. I failed my exam. I shouldn't have played video games. I should have studied more. Shouldn't have indicates something that I did, but it was a mistake. Should have indicates something I didn't do, but it was a good idea. Criticizing is very similar. You played video games all night. You didn't study at all. You failed your exam. You shouldn't have played video games. You should have studied more. With regret, I did the action. With criticizing, another person did the action. We can use past modals for giving advice. You ate a lot of donuts and other sweets. Best idea. You should have eaten fruit instead. Good options. You could have eaten smaller portions. You might have used honey in your coffee. When giving advice, You can use should have to show you think this is the best idea. You can use could have or might have to show good options or to make a list of good options. We're talking about past mistakes, past situations. So using past modals is appropriate in this case. If I want to talk about what to do next time, I can say, you should eat fruit instead next time. You could eat smaller portions in the future. You might use honey in your coffee next time. In both situations, we are giving advice to our partner. Things to remember. Be careful about your pronunciation. Should have, could have, might have, shouldn't have. Use should have and shouldn't have to express regret and to criticize someone. Using shouldn't have is not a good way to teach someone. It is not constructive. Constructive criticism has a positive tone and shows someone what to do. Using should have, could have, and might have can teach someone options that they didn't try. When using past modals to teach someone, use positive forms. For example, if I say, you failed the exam because you didn't study. You played video games instead. You shouldn't have played video games. You shouldn't have played video games. That sounds like I'm attacking my friend. If I use a positive phrase, you should have made a study schedule. You could have spent more time in the library. You might have reviewed your notes a little every day. That is more constructive. So when giving advice, use the positive forms of the past modals and avoid using shouldn't have. If you like, watch this video again and practice the pronunciation and think about the different situations when you can use past modals. Thank you for watching.